The U.S. food system isn't the way it once was in any way, shape, or form. Accounting for waste, the average American consumed 2,568 calories per day in 2010, an increase of 22% from 1970. So this begs the question of how is a nation that consumes such an immense quantity of food the same one that expresses so little concern for the quality of it? Food travels an average of 1,500 miles to reach the person that eats it. That is the distance that separates Madison, Wisconsin from Miami, Florida, a mere 21-hour drive. So what exactly are the implications of our food taking so long to get to us, and what are the benefits we would see from consuming local sources?
So to begin, local foods are fresher. They're reaching you soon after being harvested and under their optimal conditions, making them taste better. Oftentimes, foods flown and trucked in thousands of miles away are being produced on how well they get transported, not on how well they taste. As a matter of fact, fruits and vegetables are often harvested in Mexico, for example. The tomatoes are going to be flown in before they're ripe and then ripened in the U.S. with formaldehyde. So this leads me to the phrase that deprivation leads to greater appreciation. And it's this concept that when Mother Nature intends for it to grow, it will taste its best. So that being said, eat your blueberries in August and your apples in autumn.
The environmental impacts are impossible to dismiss. As I mentioned before, our food isn't coming from our backyards. Diesel fuel in itself accounts for 25% of the total energy consumed in the U.S. food system. The environmental impact becomes less and less the closer to home your food comes, and green space and farmland are maintained within the area.
So in addition to the consequences fossil fuels have on the environment, we have also seen a huge flux in the amount of biodiversity that exists because of the industrial food system. So today, farmers often plant one or two plant species, known as a monoculture. This leads to a huge reduction in the amount of biodiversity in terms of both plant and animal species. Because of this, the areas are highly susceptible to disease and pests, and this leads to the use of fertilizers and herbicides that we see today.
Is anyone that's making anything new only breaks something else?
Independent farmers have suffered greatly as we've shifted towards large-scale factory farms. These massive agribusiness companies control more and more, acting as monopolies, and they exert their power over policy in order to make themselves more and more profitable. Today in the U.S., 3 of the largest beef producers control over 72% of the beef processing capacity.
Small-scale farmers are actually more productive and spend more money on local labor as opposed to their counterparts. Farms under 100 acres provide 5 times more jobs per acre than those over 500 acres. In addition, smaller farms are anywhere between 200 to 1,000% more productive per acre in their output than larger farms.
Farmers only account for 1% of the American population, and the average age of a farmer is near the mid-50s. We're seeing this because they're receiving less and less for their products. In buying your food from a local source instead of from a corporation in another city, state, or country, your money tends to get back to the people working in the fields.
I think that the bottom line behind buying local is that it gives you an awareness of where your food comes from and connects you to the people and places that grow it.
Yes, you can stare into the abyss, but it's staring right back.